Jimmy Butler's injury news hit like a thunderbolt, and honestly, it's the kind of blow that shakes the entire landscape of the league. The Warriors were finally starting to look like they were finding their rhythm again, and now that momentum has been completely interrupted, it looked bad in real time. And unfortunately, the worst-case scenario has been confirmed, an ACL tear, which means Butler is done for the season. That kind of news is never easy to process, especially when you consider how much the Warriors had been improving and how their recent run of games suggested they might actually be getting back into a position to compete at a higher level. But now, without Butler, their path becomes exponentially harder. It's one thing to say the Warriors were already facing long odds of winning a championship, even with Butler. But now without him, it's a whole different story. Sure, the NBA has surprised us before. Teams that nobody expected to make a deep run somehow find a way, like the 2020 season or the 2022 run, but those are rare exceptions. And the reality is that the Warriors were already dealing with a lot of questions about their depth and consistency when a key player goes down with a season-ending injury. It's not just losing a scorer or a defender, it's losing a core piece of identity. And for a team like Golden State, which has built its success around spacing, shooting, and elite playmaking, losing a star like Butler forces a complete rethinking of the entire approach. It also brings up the bigger issue that has been hanging over the league lately: the number of catastrophic injuries we keep seeing. ACL tears, Achilles issues, and other season-ending problems have become almost too common, especially among high-level players. Yes, basketball is a high-impact sport, and those injuries are always going to be part of the game. But when you see multiple stars dealing with the same devastating injuries year after year, it starts to feel like something has to change. The league is filled with talent, and it's frustrating to see players sidelined at the peak of their careers. I think most fans would agree that the ideal situation would be to see every team healthy, every player at full strength, and the best team winning purely based on performance rather than who happened to stay injury-free. Now, why does this matter on a Lakers channel? Because Butler's injury doesn't just impact the Warriors, it shifts the entire trade market and creates opportunities that ripple across the league. The Warriors are now under pressure to make a move, and one of the most logical outcomes is that they will look to trade Jonathan Kuminga. He's been linked to the Nets and other teams, and with Butler out, the Warriors have even more incentive to make a big play. Some might think this could be the moment Kuminga finally gets more playing time and a larger role, but that scenario doesn't feel likely. Steve Kerr has never been the kind of coach to suddenly pivot and build a whole strategy around a player he doesn't fully trust yet. And it's hard to imagine the Warriors front office wanting to change course mid-season. And on top of that, Kuminga himself might not even be excited about suddenly becoming the centerpiece in a situation like this. The chemistry just doesn't feel right, and the divorce between player and team seems more probable than a sudden long-term commitment. That's where Michael Porter Jr. comes into play. The Warriors have been heavily linked to him for a while, and now, more than ever, it makes sense for them to pursue him aggressively. He's having an all-star level season and is the type of player who can slot into the lineup and immediately provide scoring, spacing, and offensive versatility. If Golden State wants to salvage the rest of this season, adding a player like Porter Jr. is the most realistic and impactful move they could make. It's not just about replacing Butler. It's about building a foundation for next season too, when the Warriors would ideally have Butler back and still need a star-caliber wing to pair with Stephen Curry and the rest of the core. So if they were considering a trade before, this injury basically forces their hand. It's now or never, but there's a big obstacle. The Brooklyn Nets don't want Jonathan Kuminga. That's been a major sticking point in trade discussions. The idea that the Lakers could acquire Kuminga for free, or at worst for a second-round pick, has been floated a lot. And it's not hard to see why. If the Warriors can send Porter Jr. to Golden State, the Lakers could send expiring contracts to Brooklyn, and then the Lakers would land Kuminga. It sounds almost too good to be true, but in the NBA, these kinds of deals happen when the timing is right. The Nets would get a chance to clear salary, the Warriors would get a star, and the Lakers would get a young player with high upside. But the key question is whether it's actually realistic, and whether all the moving pieces align at the same time. If you're trying to put numbers on the likelihood of this happening, it's hard not to be optimistic. The chance of the Warriors pursuing Porter Jr. feels very high, maybe around 70 to 80%, because they need to do something to stay competitive, and if they do go after him, The Lakers getting involved feels like a strong possibility as well, maybe around 60%. Because they have the contracts that fit the trade math and they have a real need for a wing like Kuminga. The Lakers have multiple ways to reach the exact salary figures needed, whether it's using Gabe Vincent and Max Christie or Rui Hachimura and Dalton Kessler. They have the flexibility to make it work without sacrificing their core assets. Of course, there's always the risk that the Lakers make a move just to make a move and then get stuck with a player without a clear plan. The hope would be that this is just the first domino, not the final one. Ideally, the Lakers would use this opportunity to improve their roster in a way that sets them up for the future while still competing now. Because at the end of the day, if you're the Warriors, what other options do you have? You can't just sit back and do nothing. With Stephen Curry and Draymond Green aging and the season already full of turbulence, they need to act quickly to keep the window open. The last thing they want is to watch the season slip away without making a serious attempt to remain relevant, and the timing of this injury, while brutal, is almost merciful in one way. It happened before the trade deadline. If Butler's injury had occurred after the deadline, the Warriors would be stuck, unable to make a major move and forced to limp through the rest of the season. Instead, they still have a chance to pivot and retool. It's a small silver lining in an otherwise devastating situation. It's a harsh reminder of how fragile championship windows can be, especially in the modern NBA where so much depends on star health and timing. But if the Warriors can act quickly, they could still put themselves in a better position than they would have been in without making a move at all. Now, as for the Lakers, this could be the opening they've been waiting for. The Nets know the Warriors need to move, and the Lakers have the exact kind of contracts that make a trade feasible. It's the kind of scenario where everyone could benefit, even if it comes from something unfortunate. And yes, it's hard to say that an injury like this could lead to a positive outcome for another team, because you never want to see a player's season end like that. But that's the reality of the NBA business. Teams are going to take advantage of opportunities when they rise, and the Warriors, Nets, and Lakers all have their own motivations to make something happen. If you're Rob Pelinka, you're probably feeling a mix of sympathy and strategic urgency right now. It's a tough spot, but it's also a chance to get a player the Lakers clearly want. Keep an eye on this situation, because it's one of those stories that could completely reshape the trade landscape in the coming weeks. And with the deadline approaching, the noise is only going to get louder. The Warriors need to do something, and the Lakers might be the ones who end up benefiting the most from it. What do you think is going to happen now if we look at the bigger picture? This whole situation underscores something we often forget about. The NBA is not just a game of skill, it is a game of timing and opportunity. Injuries like Butler's don't just affect one team, they create a domino effect that changes the entire league's landscape. The Warriors were on a trajectory, even if it was a shaky one. And now everything shifts. When a star goes down, the whole strategy needs to be rewritten. That is why the Warriors front office will be under immense pressure to act quickly and decisively. And honestly, that pressure might actually help them, because it forces them to stop hesitating and make a move that could have been on the table for a while for the Lakers. This isn't just about getting a young player with potential. It's about changing the trajectory of the franchise without giving up the future. Jonathan Kuminga represents a rare type of asset. He is young, he is athletic, and he has shown flashes of being a high-level two-way player. He is the kind of player that could fit into the Lakers' long-term plan, while still offering immediate value. If the Lakers can acquire him without giving up their key pieces, that's a win. But it's not just about the talent, it's also about the fit. Kuminga's skill set, his ability to defend multiple positions, his physicality, and his potential as a scorer could be exactly what the Lakers need to bridge the gap between their current roster and a championship-level team. But the big question is whether the Lakers are willing to take the risk. Kuminga has shown that he has potential, but he has also shown inconsistency. The Lakers have historically been a franchise that has valued proven production over potential. That's why the idea of adding Kuminga is such a big shift. It would mean embracing the idea of developing a young player who may not be fully ready to contribute at an elite level right away. It's a gamble, but it could be one that pays off big. And in a league where the difference between winning and losing can come down to one player's development, taking calculated risks is part of the game. On the other side, the Warriors have to consider what kind of message they want to send. Trading away a young player like Kuminga signals that they are in win-now mode, even with their aging core. It means they believe the window is still open and that they need to maximize it. That is a bold stance. But it's also the reality of their situation. Stephen Curry is not getting younger. And the team has already gone through a few seasons of uncertainty. If they want to remain a contender, they have to act like it. Bringing in Michael Porter Jr. would be a statement move. One that says the Warriors are not willing to quietly fade away. Now, let's talk about the Nets. Because they are a key part of this equation. Brooklyn is in a tricky spot. They have talent. But they also have a lot of salary and a lot of questions about their direction. The Nets are not known for being patient when it comes to roster construction. And they have shown that they are willing to make big moves to try to get back into contention. But they also know that the market for Kuminga is limited. That's why a trade with the Lakers makes sense. The Lakers can offer the exact salary match that the Nets need. And they can also offer the flexibility and the relationship that might make the deal smoother. Brooklyn may not love Kuminga, but if they can get some cap relief and a clear path forward, they might take the deal. This is where the business side of the NBA becomes brutally clear. Fans often want to think that teams operate with loyalty and long-term commitment. But the reality is that the league is a constant balancing act between winning now and building for the future. Teams will take advantage of opportunities when they rise, and sometimes that means making deals that look harsh from the outside. If the Warriors are desperate to keep their season alive, they will do what they have to do. If the Nets are willing to take on a player they don't necessarily want in order to move a star, they will do it. And if the Lakers see a chance to land a young asset without sacrificing their future, they will jump at it. One of the things that makes this scenario so interesting is how it could impact the Lakers' identity moving forward. The Lakers have always been a team that tries to build around superstars. The whole franchise is built on the idea of big names and big moments, but if the Lakers do bring in Kuminga, it could signal a shift toward a more balanced roster. One that blends veteran leadership with young talent. That could be a smart move. Because the league is trending toward teams that can blend star power with depth and versatility. The Lakers have struggled with that balance in recent years. And adding a player like Kuminga could help them achieve it. Before we continue, we ask that you leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Lakers updates. Moving on. Whispers around the league grew louder as the idea of JAREN Jackson Jr. wearing purple and gold began to circulate, turning what started as quiet chatter into one of the most intriguing rumors in basketball circles. According to sources close to the situation, the Los Angeles Lakers are positioning themselves to land the versatile big man, a move that would signal a bold shift in their immediate ambitions. While nothing has been officially confirmed, the mere possibility has already sent the fan base into celebration mode. With social media buzzing over the potential fit, Jackson's profile makes the speculation feel more than just wishful thinking. Known for his defensive instincts, ability to stretch the floor, and presence near the rim, he represents the kind of modern front court piece the Lakers have been searching for. Insiders suggest that the front office views him as a bridge between star power and long-term stability, someone who could contribute right away while also anchoring future plans. The idea of pairing his mobility and shot blocking with the Lakers' established core has fueled optimism across the city. Round the league, executives are watching closely. Some believe the Lakers are leveraging their market appeal to entice a player who could redefine their identity, while others caution that negotiations of this magnitude rarely move in silence. Still, the confidence among supporters is unmistakable. Jerseys are being mocked up online. Debates over rotations are already raging, and the narrative of a renewed Lakers squad is gaining momentum. For Jackson, the rumor carries its own intrigue. Joining one of the most storied franchises in sports would elevate his profile and place him under the brightest lights. Whether this speculation materializes or fades remains to be seen, but for now, the possibility alone has injected excitement into the conversation in Los Angeles. Hope often arrives before confirmation, and this rumor has given fans plenty to dream about. Stay informed exclusively about Los Angeles Lakers news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep receiving daily updates. Also, share your opinion on the news in the comments, as your contribution is crucial for the Lakers. Stay tuned for the next video.